awesome, right? I don't even think I have to preach after that. Let's just pray and go home. Father, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, that was pretty awesome. I love that video. In fact, it's on iTunes if you just want to download and listen to it on your iPhone. I was listening to it this morning when I was getting ready. I was like, I got to work out now, but I don't know. I didn't. So, I can handle it. Yes, I can. You can handle it. You know, one thing that really annoys me is when people use the word I can't when they really mean I don't want to. We do this all the time, okay? For example, I will say, I can't run a mile. Well, really, I don't want to. Now, I probably can't run a mile right now under like 10 minutes or something, but because I'm really slow. I know you can like walk it in 10 minutes, but I can't right now. But the reason I can't is because I don't want to. Is anybody else like me? You just don't like running? Okay, some of you are like, I love running, it's my favorite. But I say I can't run because I don't want to run. I don't like running and that kind of stuff. So we say that a lot when we mean I don't want something, I don't want to do something, we say I can't. Now there are sometimes it's okay to say I can't. For example, I could say I can't at 32 years old and 5'8.5" be in the NBA. Okay, it's just never gonna happen at this point. Okay, I could practice and practice and practice. I mean, you guys got to see my left hand when I dribble. Okay, this one's okay. This hand's like, what's going on with this? It's like broken T-Rex something. I can't move this hand at all, and I can't do it. And so I'm never gonna be in the NBA. I could say for sure I can't. Okay, but there's a lot of times we say I can't, we don't mean I can't. You say it, I say it. I can't keep my room clean. Okay, maybe you said that. It means I don't want to, right? I can't get in good shape. Well, the problem is I like food and sitting on the couch. That's really the reason, right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, don't get mad, but teenagers will say to me things like, I can't pass math. I can't pass English. Now, come on, what we really mean is, I'm not willing to. Because every time somebody says that to me, I ask three questions. Do you do all the homework? No. Do you take notes in class and really listen? Does sleeping count? Okay, no. And then the one that I always get the craziest reactions from, I say, how many times this week have you gone in for extra tutoring? What? Extra tutoring? Who does that? People who don't want to fail that are failing, right? Okay? And the truth is you don't want to, right? Well, I had a class in high school. There were 35 of us in the class. No one had an A. See, I had all A's, and I never had a B, and I did not want to get a B. And everybody just said, you can't get an A in this class. He just, like the way he did it, so nobody could get an A. So I went home, I opened my textbook, I got a notebook, and I made a summary of every paragraph in the entire history textbook. I got the only A in the class, 91, okay? Now, I could have said, it can't be done, okay? But there's a difference between I can't and I don't want to. Now, listen, I did not want to sit at that dinner table for 3 hours every night summarizing that textbook, but I also wanted my A. And the question is, do I want it or I'm just going to say I can't. Now, that is helpful for you whether you're a Christian or not, okay? Sometimes if you would just be willing to say, I don't want to, instead of I can't, it might convict you that I need to actually do it, okay? I can't get in shape. I can't stop yelling at my sister. I can't, get over my annoyance with my parents. I can't. If you would just say, I'm not willing to, maybe it would change your mind. But that is all kind of nice and good, but there's something that's even bigger and more important to me than that. And that is that there's a lot of you and a lot of us in our times in our life when we really feel like we can't handle something. We really feel like we can't do it, we can't accomplish it, and it's important stuff, okay? I mean, math is important, but this is like, you're like, no, it's not. It is, this is stuff like we can't just ignore. We can't just ignore it, and we say that we can't do these things, or I can't have this, and it's not something you just try harder. I mean, nobody I'm just going to try harder to be happy, okay? I can't be happy, so I'm just going to try, I'm going to try happy. You can't just try it, right? You can't just force, peace. Like, the more you try to be relaxed, the more stressed you get out. I don't know if you're like me. The more I just, have to think about it, okay, I got to be relaxed, I got to have peace. Oh, I'm thinking about my problem even more. Anybody else ever do that? So you can't try harder peace. You can't try your family getting along, right? You can't try a good relationship with your dad if it's a bad relationship. I mean, you can maybe make it better in some ways, but sometimes you just can't. It seems like I just can't. And we would say, okay, I can't be happy. I can't get along with them. I can't get over this. I can't stop being addicted. I can't get over it. And so when we're having all these I can'ts, okay, this is going to be really cheesy, but you're going to get it. Tonight we need to turn some I can'ts into some I can'ts, all right? You got to get rid of your nots, and you got to have some, that's a really slow falling knot, I can'ts, okay? I want to change some I can'ts in your life tonight. Some of you have an I can't, and you've been saying I can't be happy, I can't have peace, I can't get along with my parents, I can't get along with my sister, I can't have a good friendship, I can't get over this addiction, I can't. And I want you to change that to an I can. And some of you can change that tonight, and I want to see that happen for you. So how in the world do we even begin to change an I can't to an I can? So we're going to look at a couple of places in the Bible where Paul, some of you have heard about Paul. Paul went through a lot of I can't situations in his life, but he always believed that he could. So if you brought your Bibles, I'd actually like for you to turn, okay, to Romans chapter 8. Now that's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Romans in the New Testament. It's right there. If you didn't bring your Bible, it'll be on the screen, but it's always good to bring it. You can mark these things, and then they'll mean things to you later, okay? So Romans chapter 8 is what we're going to look at, and he's going to explain to us how you can go from a can't to a can. All right, we're going to look at it, and we'll understand in just a bit. He says in Romans chapter 8, verse 35, this is the Apostle Paul. He's writing a letter to the Roman people. That's why it says Romans. And he says, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Now, I wanted to stop real quick before we get to this. The love of Christ. This does not mean that Jesus has gooey feelings for you, okay? Jesus doesn't have a crush on you, okay? He doesn't want to hold your hand and sit on the couch and watch a movie, okay? That's not what it means by I love you. I know that's what you mean when you say, but that's not what it means. The love of Christ is a very specific thing. In fact, it's not a feeling, it's not a thing, it's a specific event. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I can even show you an example, okay, that Hollywood made of the love of Christ. This is the love of Christ right here. Now, that's kind of hard to look at, even though we know it's just makeup, okay? And you see all the blood and all that, and it's really gross. And I don't know if you saw one of these movies or a movie like this, and you watched it, and you were kind of like, I don't do good with blood. Are y'all, any of you like me? I don't do it. So the other day, I was here at the church, and my wife calls me, and she says, can you come home? I hurt myself. And some of you know I live across the street, right? And so I drove like 95 miles an hour from here across the street, like through the parking lot of the church. So as fast as I could go, I'm getting there and running in the house. And she had been using this cutting thing, and it was like I don't know if you've ever seen a mandolin where you slice. Well, it slipped, and it went just right there. And I came in, this is that dark blood. You know the dark blood? And some of you are like, ooh, it's exactly what I did when I came in. And some of you are like, sweet, did you take a picture? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's disgusting. And some of you are like, yes, you're so weird. But the rest of us, okay, it's okay to be weird. I hated it. But then when we start looking and thinking about what Christ did, that he did it on purpose, like it was an option, okay? He didn't have to, but he chose to. Why? For you. It's that Christ's love for us. That's what it's talking about. And it is that love that sets us free from sin and addiction, sets us free from pain, gives us peace. It's that love that offers joy in a hard time. It's that love that gives purpose. So when we're talking about the love of Christ, that's a big deal. It's not a gooey feeling. It's everything that he has done for us. It's everything that he offers us. And what's going to separate us from the love of Christ? Let me say it this way. What's going to separate us from the peace of Christ? What's going to separate you from the joy that Christ offers? What's going to separate you from the relationships that he wants for you? What's going to separate you from the future that he has for you? Are you seeing what I'm saying? This is the love of Christ, everything that he has done and wants for us. So let's keep going now. Oh, I forgot I did this. This is great. So if you go back like a few verses, he's going to explain this and make sure that you know I'm not just making this up, okay? It says, if God is for us, this is Romans 8:31, we were just in 8:35. If God is for us, who can be against us? Nobody, okay? And he keeps going. If he who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Now, this is saying that God gave his son, right? And you've heard this. God gave his son. And if he did that, how would he not do even more for you? And that is an amazing thing to give your child, because I have a child now, and I didn't really understand this as much, and now I do. Because if a bad guy came into our church with a gun and picked my daughter out of the nursery and then came in here and picked you and said, who is going to live? You're dead. Bye. Okay, because I'm picking her. She's living, you're dying. It's not even a question in my mind, okay? I mean, I love you, but I love her more, okay? So you're in trouble if that happens. But, I mean, it's not going to happen. But you understand what I'm saying. And you're all the same way. There's people that you love more than other people. And that's okay. We love... You would not die for everybody. See, and for Jesus, this is something else. If he gave his life for you, he would die for you. How would he not also care about the other things and take care of the other things in your life? See, there are people in fact, some of you have someone that you would die for. Maybe you're sitting next to them, right? You're like, yeah, I would die for you. Just turn to the person next to you and say, I would think about it at least. I would think about it. Right? So there are some people that you would die for, and then there are other people, you got to be honest, you would just be like, yeah, you can take them, right? No, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily give your life for them, okay? You wouldn't want death for them, but you wouldn't give it. But here's the thing, if you were wondering, okay, would I for that person, would I for that person? If you think about it, it's kind of an interesting thing. But I'm going to tell you what Jesus, when he thought of you, it was a yes. See, when he thinks of you, it's a yes. And you may not think that because you made so many mistakes or done so much, but he would die for you. He did die for you. He chose. His answer was yes. And if he would do that, what about all these other problems and struggles that we have? Yes, he's going to take care of those, because what he did on the cross is for all of that too. So now we can finally go back to where we were, where we asked this question. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble? Now, a lot of you would say the reason that you can't, whatever your can't is, I can't be happy, is because of some trouble. I can't be happy because this is going on. I can't be happy because I'm single, okay? I can't be happy because my mom, my dad. I have trouble. I can't have peace. I can't have this future. I can't do because of my trouble. And we have all of these can'ts and all these reasons. Is that going to separate us from the purposes, the love, the peace, the joy of Christ? Shall hardship? Again, it's a very similar thing, but it's so hard. It's so hard. I feel like I can't do it. It's so hard. I can't do it. We're always asking God to take the load. Have you ever thought that maybe he wanted to help you carry the load, right? Like, if anybody lift weights, anybody? Obviously I don't, but some of you do, okay? Now, if you lift weights like I do, you go in there like, well, those are heavy. Where's the light ones, okay? And so and that's why nothing ever increases. And some of us, we picked up the heavy weights and we go, Jesus, take these, I don't want to do this. And he's like, no, I wanted to help you lift those so that you'll get bigger and you'll get stronger, okay? And you'll be able to do more and go through your life. And some of you girls say, I want to get big, I want to stay skinny. Okay, that's fine, but I'm talking about your character now, okay, not your physical body. And so hardship, yes, there's hardship, but that's not going to stop us. That's not why we can't. Persecution, you know what persecution is? That's when people are doing bad things to you. And some of you have experienced this, whether sometimes it's for Christ, it's for other things. But you have people that are going against you, and you say, I can't be happy because of these people. I've known so many people that said, I can't have peace because of these bullies or these people at school who are always being jerks to me. Why does that have to be the thing that stops you from what God has for you? It doesn't have to be. I have known people whose parents were against their relationship with God. Their own parents said, you go to church too much and you do not need to be involved in the things of God that much. And their own parents were their problem, okay? But not persecution. It says, can other people, or famine. That means back then, when there was famine, you were broke. You had no food. Has anybody ever been broke? Okay, your family was like without money. Some of you know, some of you are like, I don't know, we have nice stuff. But some of you know exactly what I mean. You know, you go, Mom, can I have something to eat? She's like, you ate yesterday. Stop complaining, all right? And all your other friends got the iPhone 8, and she's like, here's your iPhone 2 with the cracked screen, all right? Because like, it doesn't even do anything. Okay, no data, by the way, no data. All right, so, and you know what it's like to be, and you would say, I can't because we're broke, we're poor, I can't. Nakedness, that's just weird. I don't even know why that one's in there. Okay, and there's this weird thing when you public speak, they'll like give you advice on how to overcome stuff. Have you ever heard, like, if you're speaking and you're nervous, to picture everyone in their underwear? I don't understand how that's good speaking advice, because I'd be like, this is a good way to talk to you guys. I would throw up if I saw that. All right, so anyways, danger or sword, and we don't even live in a world where this stuff happens, right? I mean, how many of you have had someone with a sword at your throat and that's your problem? Okay, oh, your brother's, okay, all right. And he's saying, okay, there's all of this stuff, all of these problems, and our problems would be somewhere in the middle of one of these. Can those separate us from the love of Christ? And then he answers it very nicely for us. No, okay? No, in all these things we are more than conquerors. We'll talk about it in a second. Through him who loved us. Now this bothered me at first. Loved us. Because if you have if you have a girlfriend and you say, I love you, and she says, I loved you, there's something wrong. You're in trouble, okay? You're in trouble because you don't want the past tense. It's worse if she goes, I love spending time with you. But I loved you, that'd be like, why would he say a past tense, right? Why would he? Because, again, of course he still loves us. Okay, there's plenty of scriptures that say that. But this passage is referring to a specific loved. And the reason that you can conquer whatever you're facing is not because you're so strong, not because you're so great. And if you think that is why, then you will always be disappointed. But this is why, because Christ died on the cross and gave us victory. And he rose from the dead, and we have victory. And that is how I know that we can conquer. So if you want to go from not conquering, if you want to become a conqueror, this is cheesy, right? But it's good. If you want to be a conqueror, you got to be a can-doer, okay? If you want to be a conqueror, you got to be a can-doer. Okay, you got to be somebody that says, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. You got to stop saying I can't. Because when you say I can't, that means I do not believe that Christ can do this in me. But when you say I can, then you're beginning to speak faith. I can win. I can have peace. I can have victory. Somebody say I can. That's right. I can stop dating losers. Okay, I can stop looking at porn. I can have good friends. I can make a difference. I can make a difference. I can make a difference. Why am I saying the same one over and over? Because some of you don't realize that you are made to make a difference, and you can make a difference. It is not just for you to go to school and graduate and go into college. You should be making a difference, and you can make a difference. Somebody say, I can. You can. Y'all aren't very enthusiastic, but I believe that you can. All right. So we're gonna look at one more verse, one more little section here, and that is this, because there's a verse that if I was to start it, you probably know it, because if you were in church at all as a kid, and in fact we're saying I can, and you're already thinking this, right? I can do. Right, and you memorize it like I did, the King James Version, but I'm going to do it in the NIV version. I can do everything through him who gives me strength, right? The other says all things through Christ. It's just the same thing, right? I can do everything through him who gives me strength, Philippians 4:13. Now, I memorized that when I was a little kid, and I had it all confused because I thought that just meant that whatever I wanted, I could do, I'm going to go play a sport. Who's a really good basketball player? Kevin Durant. Okay, if I went up to Kevin Durant tomorrow and said, I'm going to beat you in one-on-one, let's go right now. It isn't going to happen. I can say, through Christ, I'm going to beat you. It's not going to happen because that's not his plan for me. I can go up on the roof of this building, put my headphones in and be singing, I believe I can fly. And then I can just jump off and it's going to be, I believe I can die, right? Because I ain't flying. It doesn't matter how much I quote this verse, because this verse is not meaning I just make up things and believe Christ is going to do it. This verse means is that what he wants for me is going to happen. I can do everything he has for me. I can handle anything that he has for me. In fact, most of you have no idea the context of this verse. All growing up, I had never read it because that's the only part that matters, right? The one verse. And I want to show you just a little of the context. We're going to go back 2 verses, okay, to verse 11. It says this, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. So content means to be happy, to have peace, to be satisfied. Okay, that's content. I want to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. See, a lot of us, I do this, okay? When I'm in need, I start talking about how I can't make it, it's too hard, it's this, I don't believe I can, I am in need. But when we have plenty, we're always good, right? Oh, yeah, life is great, I'm happy, I'm good. As soon as we have need, we start down that trail. We start saying negative things, doing negative things. He keeps going. He basically says the same thing in another way. I have learned the secret. There's a secret. I'm going to tell you the secret. I have learned the secret to being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want, whether single or in a relationship, whether I'm getting along with my parents or I'm grounded, whether I'm broke or I'm rich, right? Whether I am passing or failing, whether I'm feeling addicted or I'm feeling free, wherever I am, he says, I've learned the secret to being content. So what's the secret, Paul? Well, we just read it, right? I could do everything through him. It's through him. It's not my strength. You see that? It's not my strength. It's his strength. And when I believe that he's in me, I can. I have to be completely honest, and I try to always be, but I don't know why. I'm going to be transparent. I have never had a time in my life where I truly believed that I couldn't, because I've always had that faith that he can in me. And when you get a hold of that, you will do great things. You will get through the hardest things because you can. Now, I've had challenges, times when I did at points feel like I can't do this. There was a time when I almost dropped my major in college and left to try and find something else because I just felt like I couldn't do it. I was failing 2 classes, and I was trying. I was trying. I was, that thing and going to the table, and I was doing everything I could, and I felt like I can't. And I was praying one day, and I just felt like I'm saying, I am in control of your life. And I was like, I can do this. I can do this. And I got strength, and he did it. And you can. You can, but you have to be faith-filled, believing that you can in Christ. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I want you to help me because I want you to answer me, okay? Just answer. It's a really simple answer. The answer is, I can. Do you think you can do that? Yes. I can. Yeah, some of you already did bad. Do you think you can do that? Okay, that's good. So, can you have peace in the middle of a storm?
I can.
Can you get victory over your problem that you have right now?
I can.
Can you get free from any addiction that you face?
I can.
Can you have good relationships?
I can.
You can. See, listen, I can sit here and ask you all kinds of stuff. The question is, when we get to your situation, last question, are you going to believe that Christ can do it in you? You can. I believe that you can. Now, some of you came in here tonight with one of these. You came in with a big I can't. And you've been facing it maybe for a long time. So why don't we change it? Okay? It's simple when it's a piece of paper, okay? It's difficult when it's your life. But if you can get a hold of this, and this may be, this is that cheesy kid verse. No, it's an amazing, amazing life verse. That through him, my can'ts are going to become cans because I can get through this. I can handle this. And if you're facing something big right now, you can. You can get through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to sing one song together. And if you are facing an I can't, I want you to go pray with somebody. And let it be the last time you say I can't about that situation. You can say it one more time if you want. When you tell them, I have believed that I can't handle this, and tonight I want to believe that I can. And pray with somebody, and let's change the way we talk and what we're believing on the things that we're facing. Father God, I just thank you that you love us so much that you will carry us through any struggle that we face. I pray that every young person here would begin to have victory over the can'ts in their life, and that they would believe that they can have victory, they can overcome, they can have peace and joy, they can have a good relationship, they can, and we believe you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.